Welcome to this explainer. Okay, today we are undertaking a truly fascinating mental exercise. We're going to take an ancient piece of philosophy and flip it entirely upside down. Why? Because doing so transforms it from this lofty, abstract concept into a deeply practical tool that can actually help us navigate the modern chaos we deal with every single day. We're looking at the classic Taoist sequence of creation, but we're going to travel backward.
Okay, let's dive into this map of our reverse cognitive journey. We'll be hitting 5 key milestones today: the paradigm shift, the illusion of isolation, the anchor, the deep dive, and finally, the return. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The paradigm shift, flipping the sequence.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that Lao Tzu originally laid it out like this. Tao gives birth to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, and 3 gives birth to the 10,000 things. But here's the catch. Starting from an unknowable Tao, that's literally impossible for the human mind to grasp. So we're not rewriting the philosophy here, we are simply making it useful. We're turning it into a practical pathway by starting at the bottom. We're going to start from the 10,000 things, the stuff we can actually touch and feel, like mountains, animals, our relationships, and trace the whole thing backward to understand how reality actually operates.
So, this reverse countdown is going to be our structural guide as we peel the onion. We're starting at the messy, chaotic surface, the 10,000 things, and we'll strip away the layers through change, relationship, and energy, all the way down to the ultimate void. It's a continuous process of subtraction. And honestly, with every layer we peel back, how we should navigate life becomes surprisingly clearer.
Section 2. Layer 1. The illusion of isolation. Moving from things to 3.
Let's start right at the surface with the 10,000 things. This represents all the physical stuff we interact with. But if you look closely, you realize absolutely nothing exists in total isolation. When the temperature drops, your body shivers, right? When you feel joy, your heart rate shifts. If we strip away the physical forms, the mountains, the people, the animals, what's left is this massive web of constant interaction and response. The ancients called this continuous state of change 3. And this leads us to a really profound realization about the nature of those interactions, a concept known as emptiness. Now don't get it twisted. This isn't some dark, depressing void. Emptiness simply means that nothing has a fixed, independent nature that can exist without its environment. Think about a beautiful flower. It literally cannot exist without sunlight, soil, water, and time. Remove those relationships and boom, the flower ceases to be. Emptiness just means being unfixed. And because things are unfixed, they can interact, they can adapt, and they can actually live. Emptiness is the very condition that makes life possible.
Section 3. The anchor, the dragon, and the breath.
Now you might be thinking, a world where absolutely nothing is fixed and everything is just swirling in constant interaction, that sounds terrifyingly chaotic. And yeah, how do we survive a reality like that without losing our minds? Well, the ancients developed frameworks to anchor us amidst all this shifting reality. And the core of this anchor is the concept of the center, or zong. In the West, we usually picture a center as a fixed, dead middle point on a map. But here, the center is a dynamic, moving target. The source material uses this brilliant analogy. Picture a person walking down a bumpy road while carrying a heavy yoke with buckets on either shoulder. The road goes up and down, the water sloshes around, the weight shifts. For that person to maintain their balance, they can't just freeze in place. Balance is achieved through continuous movement, constant adjustment, and micro-corrections. Sounds a bit like my morning commute, honestly. But the point is, the center isn't a place you stop at. It's your ongoing ability to keep adjusting to the changes around you.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we can find that center in our own bodies. I want you to try something with me real quick. Take a breath in and exhale it completely. Okay, stop right there. Don't inhale yet. That tiny, pregnant pause right between the exhale and the new inhale is known as G, the incipient moment. It's incredibly brief. The old movement is completely done, and the new movement hasn't started yet, but the potential, the new direction is already secretly forming right there in that stillness. Finding your center in life is kind of like living in that pause, just constantly aware of the shift from one state to the next.
So we've established that the surface of reality is basically this giant web of constant interaction and change. But that begs a pretty logical question, doesn't it? If there's all this interaction happening, who exactly is interacting with whom? I mean, action requires an actor, right? Let's peel back another layer to find out.
Section 4. Layer 2. The deep dive. 2, 1, and delve. We're officially going deeper.
We are moving from the realm of visible interactions into the underlying invisible structures that actually cause those interactions to happen. Just checking back in with our reverse map here. We've stripped away the physical forms of the 10,000 things, we've stripped away the complex interactions of the 3, and now we're looking directly at 2 and 1.
Let's break this down a bit. When we ask who is interacting, we find two, yin and yang. But here's the crucial part. Yin and yang are not two separate physical objects crashing into each other. They are a relationship structure. You literally cannot have yin without yang. There's no up without down, no cold without hot. They only exist relative to each other. And when we peel back 2, we realize that yin and yang aren't even separate forces at all. They're actually one. One is qi, a single unified energy. Yin and yang are just that exact same energy moving in different directions. Sometimes it rises, sometimes it falls, sometimes it expands, sometimes it contracts. So the chaotic changes of 3 come from the relationship of 2, which comes from the singular energy of 1. It's like a giant puzzle clicking into place.
So, we've tracked reality all the way down to a single, pulsing manifestation of energy, which brings us to the very edge of our reverse countdown. If absolutely everything comes from this 1, where on earth does 1 come from?
So, the crucial point is, you actually have to know when to stop. The ancient text warns us right here. If you start asking, what came before 1, or how big was the space before 1, you are inherently using concepts of time, distance, and space. But here's the kicker. Time, distance, and space are measurements that only exist after the 1 has manifested. Trying to measure what came before it with human tools is like trying to weigh a dream on a bathroom scale. It just doesn't apply.
In this framework, we have to look at Tao impartially. It's not some mystical, dark universe waiting to be imagined. It is simply a boundary. Tao is the exact point where our human ability to measure, categorize, and perceive just runs out. It is the absolute edge of the map. By working backward, we didn't discover some magical object. We discovered the precise limit of our own cognition.
Section 5. The Return. Reversal is Tao's movement.
All right, having hit the absolute bottom of reality, the very edge of our perception, it's time to zoom back out. Let's look at this quote and see how it builds our final understanding. Laozi said, "Reversal is the movement of Tao." You see, this entire exercise of deconstructing reality wasn't about escaping the world or detaching from our messy lives. By going backward, by stripping away the illusion of fixed objects and seeing the underlying energy and relationships, we can now step back into our daily lives and see reality clearly for exactly what it is.
We peel back reality, not to hide from it, but to learn how to swim in it dynamically. The source text compares a person who gets this to a dragon swimming in the sea. The sea never ever stops moving, right? Its waves and currents are in constant chaotic flux. But the dragon doesn't fight the waves, and it definitely doesn't rigidly hold one single position. It adapts. It senses those incipient moments of change we talked about, and it adjusts its center dynamically to thrive in the water. By seeing our world not as a collection of stubborn, fixed objects, but as a fluid sea of relationships and energy, we become that swimming dragon. So I'll leave you with this to ponder. If you stop expecting the world to hold still and instead fully embrace the beautiful dynamic flux of reality, what waves are you ready to ride today?